Guru Nation, welcome back to another episode of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. My gosh, this will be an excellent, guys and gals. I don't think you're ready, okay, because we have Ritu Wadwani. She's a clinical trial manager based out of New York City. She's done so many roles in this industry. Okay, she's been senior study associate, startup specialist. She's worked for sponsors and CROs and sites, clinical study specialist. Looks like multiple therapeutic areas. We're going to get into that. A vendor for CNS studies. Maybe we worked together in the past life somewhere, because that's my world. I mean, everything, CRC. And if that's not enough, guys and gals, Ritu is an immigrant from India. And after college, and her LinkedIn's underneath, you go look for yourself and go connect with her for yourself. So there's a lot of different topics that we're going to try to fit into this 30 to 60-minute podcast. So Ritu, thank you so much for generously agreeing to come on.
Great. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you so much for your kind words and that great introduction. I really appreciate that. And before we get into our podcast, I really want to thank you to letting me, giving me this opportunity to be doing this today. And I have been following you for a very long time. I saw that book behind you. I have that book, and I have recommended that book to my friends who are trying to get into clinical trials, who don't know what clinical trials are and what this world is about.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. I think you're doing a great job, and I really enjoy your posts, and I'm a avid follower. So
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And thanks for jumping on the live stream the other day. It was really good. It was fun to do that kind of live stream. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll go back to high school, college in India. Did you ever think you're gonna come to the United States, or was it what
No,
was going
actually
on with you?
not. United States was never in the picture. I come from a small town called Ajmer. It's in the western part of India, a state called Rajasthan. It's a very popular state, very visitor friendly state. It's beautiful out there. So I come from that state, and when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor. My parents were really wanted me to get into that profession, and I think I would have become a good one if I was focused and more driven at the time, because when you are in high school and I mean, my parents gave me every opportunity to take classes, go everywhere, any books I needed, whatever resources that I really needed. But I think I did not have that drive to really get into it and crack the exam, which I didn't. But I still did my graduation from in the field of science. So I have a bachelor's of science. My major was biology, so I totally enjoyed that. And once I graduated, just life happened, and fate brought me here because my husband, he used to be in the US, and he came back there to get married. So that's how it was a really arranged marriage, and that's how I came to US. No one from my family, immediate or far, was in the US. We did not know anything, and I just came here. I was only 21 years old because I was just right out of college, and I came. And it was a struggle, to be honest, Dan, at that time, because I was very young. I never lived alone. My college school was with my parents at home. So to come to altogether new country that I had no idea about, it was pretty hard. And that was also 21 years ago, when social media was not out there, and you really can't meet people until you actually meet them in person.
This was
And
around what, 2001, 2002?
2002 was June of 2002
I
somewhere.
remember that environment. Yeah, I was in college at that time, and 9/11 just happened, and
Yes.
The
Yeah,
environment was a little strange.
it
Not
was.
unlike what it is today, but different still.
Yeah, it was. It was. And so, like, my parents thought, oh, she's so young, she probably go to college there, do something, you know. And I thought so too. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's great. I can do my postgraduate there and do something. And when I went there, I actually also was, I did not know what to do. So my husband said, you want to do MBA? I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. Maybe I'll do an MBA and get a job in some. I'd never even thought about pursuing something in science, even though that's my background.
Hmm.
So I did the GMAT and I got into a college, but just life had to happen. So I couldn't even go to that college. My husband had to move from Michigan and we went to California. And there I was again thinking about what to do now. So I met some people, like some of our family, and they're like, you should maybe do nursing or you can do some, like, people would give me ideas and I just did not know how to go about it. So anyways, fast forward to New Jersey, which is 2003. I came here and again, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was tired of sitting at home. So then I just did it was a very, and again, the visa issue was the biggest problem because I was on the I wouldn't even remember, dependent visa at the time. So I couldn't work. And so I just like started like some sort of job in New York City where I would, get paid in cash. And I just wanted to do something because I was tired of sitting at home. And I think that job really just gave me, an idea of what the office is because I have never worked in India. I
Hmm.
can't even fax anything, forget about anything else. So, how to work with people and it was sort of a good experience. I stayed there for almost a year before I found out that this is not for me. And I really wanted to do something with like healthcare. That by that time I just knew that. So instead of sitting at home, instead of trying to see, if I can go to a college or I just like started looking for jobs in doctors' offices, just like that. And I got a job. I was a front office receptionist. I was doing medical billing for her. She also was a very new doctor. It was a new practice. We used to have two patients in 1 week, and she and I used to just wait for patients and just. She was amazing, amazing.
Wow.
But by the time I left there, which was almost 2 years after that, she had like 100 patients practice already.
So she grew her
So
practice during this time with you. You helped her grow.
yes, yes. We both, it was just her and
Wow.
I was doing everything for her. Like I was the one who'd open the door in the morning
Was this
and
in New York City or where
it
was
was
this?
in Edgewater, New Jersey. So I
Okay.
am based out of New Jersey.
Okay.
And then we had to move from there. I left there. And then by the time I was really not very motivated, I was sort of like okay with what I was doing, what I was making, and I went to another doctor for the same kind of role, like a practice administrator. I got that job. I didn't take it because I was interviewing for a couple of other places, and I took the other one, not him. And that was a big company, Dan, who would just deal with medical insurances, like McKesson. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Yeah, of course.
my God, all day long, I would just pick up the phone and call insurance companies for the bills, and the bills used to be millions of dollars, and I just couldn't do the number
So you
at
were
all.
doing billing.
Accounts.
You were helping doing billing at the office.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So it was more of like just billing. At
Hmm.
least when I was with the doctor's office, I had so much interaction with the patients that I used to love that job, even though
Right.
I was not getting enough money at the time, but I was learning so much and the patient interaction was just so amazing for me. Anyhow, this thing did not work. So I called the other doctor again and told him that that didn't work. So do you still have that position open? And he said, that position is filled, but I have something else that you might be interested in, might be good at. If you want to come meet me, do that. And I'm like, okay. So I went there and he goes, do you know anything about clinical research? I am a research site and, this is my coordinator. She's moving in 2 months. And by your background, I think like you might be a good fit if we trained you properly. What do you
Wow.
think about it? Yes. And I was like, interesting. and he just gave me a book and he said, read this and tell me what do you think about it. And I went home and I read, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And the funny thing is, Dan, I would never think that I would be even eligible to be doing that. I in my head, I would think maybe I have to go to some college and learn more and
Yeah.
then get into this profession. But he,
Everybody thinks that.
yes,
And
yes,
he's a site
yes,
owner. I'm a site owner. No matter where you're located, your site, if it's in a big market like greater New York, or if it's in a small like Yuma, Arizona, the talent to find a coordinator is tough. Like it's actually impossible where I live. I literally do the same thing that he did with you
yeah,
with my book though. I'm like, here, this is research, consider it, but I only want you if you are interested. And like the majority are not. They just think
okay,
it's something scam and they're like, oh, thanks for the book. They probably
yeah.
don't read it. But when they find someone like and he must have saw something in you in the interview or
He did. I am still in touch with him. I am still so grateful to him. I
wow,
he taught me so much, Dan, and he was a great PI, really amazing PI.
wow,
And so this coordinator, she started teaching me, and I still remember the first time that I was screening a or in I'm doing I was consenting a subject. I was so nervous, Dan, and I'm now I believe to think that I'm confident and I'm a people's person and can talk. But at that time, I just
but
got like
what, like a week into your new job or how?
probably 2 or 2.5 weeks, something
Yeah,
like that.
it's about
And
right.
where I got stuck was explaining the study, like what the medicine is going to do, like how it's going to help them.
Because you didn't learn it
Those
yet.
Yeah, yeah. So, but she was there with me. Of course, I was shadowing her, so she took over, and then that that day I was like, this cannot happen again. So I really got my head into it and learned the study very well. And from there was no looking back. She left, and I was the only coordinator there. We had only 2 studies at the time. After that, we had 5 studies, and I was the only research person there, Dan. So I
Wow.
did everything, like from the feasibility questionnaire to negotiating budgets to
Wow, you did
like
everything.
preparing the site for the PSVs. It was amazing. I mean, I still remember. It was like had found my calling because this is what I always wanted to do. I wanted to
That sounds
work.
like me in my first 5 years. That's exactly what I was thrown into it. Same
Yeah,
exact thing. Everybody
yeah,
quit. The payroll was not running. The management left, and it was just my dad who was one of the PIs, and he said, "Hey, this
okay.
place is falling apart.
Oh wow.
Either take over or go find another job." And I wasn't even getting paid. I was like a volunteer. So I
Yeah.
like I just said, okay, let's do it. And rest is
Yeah,
history.
yeah. So same thing. And I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. It was also part time. But my PI told
Jeez.
me this that think of it as a school. He said that was
Yeah,
his words,
wow. That's
and
good.
I think he was right. He was right.
I think
So
he's right too. I think that's a really good way to actually put it.
yeah.
And you know what's great? Like you had an excellent background, you had a bachelor, you were almost MBA. But you can do that, and you were also just receptionist. I know people who did almost exactly your story. Maybe instead of immigrating from India was Mexico or Ecuador in one example,
Hmm.
but receptionist, research, run the whole thing, you know, the rest is history. 20 years later, like you're a clinical trial manager. You've done literally everything one can imagine. And we're gonna get through some of these roles. But how long were you coordinator at this place?
So I coordinated there. I was a coordinator for 2 years, and then I had to leave for some personal reasons, and it was not very. I mean, my PI's exact words were, like, what would I do without you? This is, I want someone like, because I used to go in a couple of weeks or so, I'll go to him to have him sign things. And he would just like, of course, he will look at it where he needs to sign, but he would like, because he did not have to worry a lot while I was there. So he really, I mean, it was mutual. Like we both worked very well together. So, but I
Mm.
had to leave, and then when I came back, I was out overseas for maybe a year, less than a year. And when I came back, I started looking again, and he did not have the position. My same PI did not have the position, so I went to another research center, and this was a research center. Dan, it had
Wait,
three
but you had to
hospitals.
leave. You had to leave for personal reasons. Did you move or you stayed in
No,
the
no, I
same
didn't
place?
move. I did not
Okay,
move.
okay.
My husband was still here. I just had to deal with something
Yeah.
personally, so I went there.
So you
And when I
couldn't work
came,
anymore with him. Then you just found another site.
exactly.
Okay.
So when I came back, I started looking again, and I went to this another clinical research center, and that was a great experience too, because then this PI or the site director had a totally opposite temperament from my this PI. Like he was a tough taskmaster. He wouldn't take like any like I remember I had joined during the Sandy, the big hurricane that came in New Jersey back in
Mm,
2010, or
mm,
I think 2012. And he
mm.
actually made all the coordinators come to work in that
Wow.
bad like situation. I mean, probably he wasn't aware also that it is so bad out there. But anyhow, he was very
Yeah,
tough.
there were like sharks in the subways and stuff back then.
Yeah, it's funny. But the point is, I learned a lot there too, because he actually sent me. One thing that he did really good was he sent me to a nursing school to learn phlebotomy and
Ah,
like medical assistant stuff, because
awesome. So
yes,
you drew
yeah,
blood.
yeah,
I keep active. People don't know this. The other Last week, I drew two patients' bloods. One with
really,
butterfly, one with straight needle. Yeah, I still do it. I
wow,
still do it. The coordinators joke with me because we have a new staff and we train them all also. And this exact thing what your PI did. I do the
yeah,
same thing. If you don't know how to draw blood and you want to learn, we're gonna teach you. And we
yeah,
have one of the best phlebotomists in Yuma that teaches us on the weekends. And then she says, "Hey, you just gotta practice." So some of the time the new ones are nervous. So they ask me, like joking, like, "Do you want to do it?" I say, "Yeah." I just did it. Boom, nothing. The patient was like, "Oh, nobody got it on the first try."
oh,
So it's a good to brag to the staff
yeah.
too. See, I can do it too.
I mean, I had to draw at least 100 blood draws before I got that thing that you're okay to do that. So
Wow.
I used to be in a hospital like lab,
So you
and
got actual like a license
it wasn't a license, but
or
it
like a
was,
certificate.
yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
a certificate from the
Yeah.
nursing school that I am ready
Okay.
to draw blood. Yeah.
Yeah. New Jersey's
So
probably more strict. New York, New Jersey, Arizona,
yeah.
even surprisingly California is not that strict. It's just
Okay.
if a doctor or NP supervises you, you can do it. So we have like safety training and as long as someone's supervising you, you know how to do it. But it's actually not that difficult. You know
Yeah.
Brad Hightower, Brad, the other podcaster, SOS guy, Note to File podcast.
Okay.
He started as a phlebotomist too, and he's a site owner now, very successful site owner.
Wow. That's
Shout out to
amazing.
Brad Hightower. Are you coming to SOS?
No, I don't know where it is.
We gotta talk afterwards. You gotta get you there. February
Okay.
2nd in Tucson, Arizona. Save Our Sites conference.
Okay.
You
Okay.
have to come.
I
I'll
will.
I'll put you on the list. You don't need to worry about ticket. Just get your flight and the hotel.
Okay.
I'll get you on the list.
Okay. That'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that then. So there I worked for different therapeutic areas, and that it was different because I was working on hospital floors. So there were three different hospitals. I actually used to travel between all the three. wherever there were subjects. I did like oncology trials there. I did C. diff trials. I did dermatology
C. diff
trials.
are hard. Those are hard
I
studies.
used to go to that emergency room every day. That emergency doctor knew me. She's back again. Like, do you have a subject with C. diff today?
Wow. So you were
So,
recruiting, I mean, literally everything at the
yeah,
site level.
yeah,
Do you think, because you, and we have to do a part two
yeah,
of this interview. Maybe we'll go live and take questions. But
sure.
do you think, and I recommend to everyone, look, start at the site level, especially if you're immigrating. But even if you're not, like the site level is where you learn everything. And if you're lucky enough to be at the sites like you and I were, I mean, you're forced, you have no choice. You have to learn how to screen, how to recruit, how to do budget, how to get studies, everything, right?
Process samples. Process samples.
Everything.
I
Yeah.
process samples, send it back, data entry, everything. I
Do you
mean,
realize that, like, I tell people in the videos and in the book, I have links like GCP, you get it for free.
yeah,
IATA, you get it for free.
that's what I did as soon as I started. My PS said, do these, and
But
then you're all
imagine if you had GCP and IATA and you just went to 10 sites, forget about applying. Just go to 10 sites and say, hey, I don't have research experience, but I already did my GCP and IATA and I know how to do these things because I watch podcasts. They will eventually hire you. There's a demand for coordinator. It's an unbelievable demand, but people don't want to
yeah,
do it. People would
yeah,
rather say, no, I'd rather take a student loan and get a master degree when
yeah,
they already have a master's. Now they want another master's.
yeah, yeah,
Master's in clinical research now they want.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
don't need it. You get your own master, like your PI told you.
yeah.
This is your master's degree.
Yes, it is because that's how you learn. Dan, I think a coordinator role is for a person who likes people first of all,
Yeah.
and who knows what I mean. At least for me, I had a passion for like healthcare and science. Like I
Yeah.
just wanted to be a part of this whole system. Fine, I'm not prescribing a medicine, but I'm at least a part of a process where the medicine actually went to the doctor to be prescribed, right?
But can you break it down, because I'm also an immigrant, but we moved here when I was 3, so I still have like the immigrant. I was raised by my parents, like very strong immigrant household,
Mm,
right? Imagine it's
mm,
very similar to India.
yeah,
Most countries, when they immigrate here, most people, they're same, like education, education. So a lot of these questions I get, okay, are from people from India,
yeah.
Ritu, and they're like, do I need this master's? Should I get another master's? Everything is like about education
But
instead of
then
just going.
I was that person. When I came to New Jersey, one of our friends, my husband's friends, they had come over to meet us, and they were saying, Ritu, New Jersey is a pharmaceutical hub. You should actually go do something there. And I'm like, but how am I even going to get started? Like, how do I apply? What do I say? What's my experience? I like how do I need a degree for that? Like, what do I do? So I never, so I'm sure if my PI didn't tell me that you can do clinical research, I don't know if I don't know where would I have been or what I would be doing. I don't know. But the thing is, people don't know that there is a path where you don't need to have a college degree. There is another path.
But
I mean,
it's
I
almost
see,
like blasphemy, because religion in our, not religion, education in every culture is like the gateway to
yes,
success, and
yes,
we're telling them on YouTube,
yeah,
no, you don't need it. Just go in person to the clinic, research clinic, and do
yeah,
your GCP and IATA.
yeah.
It's almost like you feel bad giving this advice because it's like counterintuitive
Yeah,
to even what
it
I
is.
was raised.
And to be honest, Dan, I have a bachelor's in science and it helps me, right? I mean,
Of course,
it
yeah.
does help me. Like it helps me.
And your
But
master's would have helped you too, to be honest with you. But you still accomplished everything that you could have without a master's.
Yeah, yes. I agree. I agree. I did. So, and I think, I mean, I just feel like I am 10 years late. I wish I had known this
Yeah.
sooner, but it's okay. I mean, that's only one thing that
We're
I,
young. We're young. We're about the same age, I think, and we're still
yeah,
young. That's what people don't understand. Like once you're in this industry, there's no getting out. Like you
that's
have
true.
to do
Yes.
something so bad. You have to do like fraud to be banned. There, if you just make mistakes, that's just normal. Like the next place will hire you like that.
If you make mistake, you just have to document it then. That's all we need to do.
Yeah, but even if you're lazy, you're
Yeah.
safe. Your career is safe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that, or maybe, I mean, I needed those years to get to where I am, but I
Yeah.
should have done, I just feel like if I knew I could have done this sooner, I would be in the industry sooner, but
Yeah. But look
so
at everything you have done though. So after the site, what was the next job after the two
So
sites?
then what happened then, when I was at this clinical research center where I was doing all the three hospitals, during that time, I actually conceived my boys,
Oh.
and my pregnancy was a little bit like I had to be off my foot and really be careful. So I quit
Wait,
my
boys,
job.
you had twins?
I have two boys, yes.
Twins?
Yes.
Congrats. Wow,
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. My wife is a twin. She's
Oh,
her and
really?
the twin brother. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Mm.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. They are 9 years, almost 10 years old, my boys.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So when that happened, I had to take a break because I just quit my job at the time. And so I was out for 2 years until they both were 1 year old and went to the daycare.
Sure.
And then when I started looking again, then at that time I wanted to do something which is, for which I did not have to be like it wouldn't be so demanding for me to be in the hospitals or,
Yeah.
with the
Like
patients. So
hustle, like go hustle,
yeah,
catch what you eat type of mentality, you know?
exactly. So,
Mm.
so I started looking. I mean, I drafted my resume and I reached out to like recruiters, and that's how I got the first job with a company called Metavante. They are something
I
else
worked with
now.
them.
Oh my God,
They don't exist. What is it? Bracket now or there's something
Prophase
else?
something, Prophase something. I don't
I
know what.
think I have a call with one of
WCG.
them later today for a depression study. I'm a rater, and
Oh my
they
gosh,
wanna.
you're a rater.
Yeah, I'm a rate. I do
Oh,
rating scales too. So we have a
Dan,
depression.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm doing Madras, Skid, CGI, all that stuff. Like
Oh
I'm
my
doing it.
God. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
but
So,
these are the people for people that don't know. They train like if you do psychiatric studies, central nervous system, they want consistency of rating scale. So if it's like a PANS for schizophrenia or a ADAS-Cog for Alzheimer or like MADRS.
I did that one.
I
The
did
it
that
is
one too. Oh my gosh, that one's
I mean,
not
I
so
was
hard.
not a rater, but we what I would do is just put all the raters qualifications in a tracker, and then our medical monitors will look at that and approve that rater, or
So you were
if
like
they
tracking, but you weren't
yeah.
reviewing their scores and re-educating them when you need to, or was that
No, I
someone else?
wasn't doing that, Dan.
Uh,
It was a very
those
different
people are
role then.
annoying. I have to talk to
Yeah.
one of them today, and I'm gonna argue with them because I'm gonna say, well, you rate it how you rate it then.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they're always trying to say, well, you didn't rate this. Why did the patient present? Now I document like
Um,
crazy because I'm not gonna remember. So I look back now in Medria, I'm like, look, what would you do? And you have the audio, you can listen to yourself.
yeah.
Sorry, I get mad.
No, that's fine. I think that was 2014, I believe.
We might have worked together because back then you probably saw my profile.
I may have, Dan.
Yeah, I was doing all that was the middle of all of it. PANS, ADAS-Cog, all the Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, bipolar ones. That was
Yeah,
doing all of those.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So that job was a very different, Dan, in the sense that uh it was more like office job. Like I was really not looking at any patients or patient data. They made a they made a device called Virgil, Dan,
Yeah,
which
I remember.
yes. So when they had when it was coming on, we were at the back end of who's going to get access into the system, like which raters will get into the system, have they completed their training, if they completed the training, give them access, or if they are, and if they are in the middle of something, or some there is a technical issue, they would call us and then we will connect them to the technical team
Hmm.
if it's a
Hmm.
very technical issue. Otherwise, if it's an access issue or something that we have to change, I probably did that for, I was there for a year. And again, I it was very far then. I really had to travel a lot for that job.
Back
But
then, that was in the off. Today, that's remote. All those jobs are remote.
yes, I used to go to work 5 days a week, and it was an hour travel one way. And I had
Where was this?
still,
This was New
it
Jersey
was
also,
in,
no?
it was close to, I think it was close to Princeton, but further down, like it was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
far. It was like the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, really. It was really far.
But that's amazing. When I saw that on your, because that's a small group of people that actually do that. Um, Not too many people like work at those CNS type of vendors. There's a
Yeah,
few of
so
them now.
yeah, but the thing is, Dan, I made such good connections also, and they go so far in life if you have good connections and good rapport with people. But anyhow, so I left there because I couldn't do that travel so much. My kids were little,
Mm.
and a recruiter reached out to me by LinkedIn. It was a direct recruiter from PRA, which is a CRO. Now they are, I think, taken by Icon. I think they're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same now. So they called me for this job at. I mean, we would be placed in Sanofi, but I was PRA employee, like the CRO. And it was sort of an in-house CRA role, and I got that. And there I stayed 2.5 years. Then I think
Mm.
it really rooted me into what happens at the CRO and sponsor end, and what we need to do at the sponsor end. Because Medavante was not at all, it was neither a CRO nor a sponsor. We were working with both sponsor and CRO and the
Right.
sites. So it
It's a
was like,
vendor. Yeah, it's a
yeah, yeah. So when I worked at PRA, I learned a lot there. I made good connections, and from there, I moved on to another positions. They were all consulting positions, and they all reached out to me via LinkedIn.
so
So
all these roles after your last site, once you got the Metavante role
that
that was
was,
after that
yeah,
you had kids, you
yes.
got that one, and then
Hmm.
everything after has been someone reaching out to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So that foot in the door was hard, but I had to do it because even though it was far and it was not what I wanted to do, but I needed to get into this world. So I took that job, and I am grateful that I did, because I did learn a lot there too.
Mm.
So from there, then again from Sanofi, from PRA Sanofi, I went to Regeneron. I was there year and a half probably. And then after there, I went to Pfizer for some time, and then I went to BMS, then I went to Daiichi. Yeah, so yeah.
Wow. And then you went back to Icon but that was only for 5 months. Startup specialist.
Yeah, so that was the time when
But that was
uh
COVID.
yes.
That was in
It's
the middle
funny,
of
Dan,
COVID.
that it was so funny that I started look, because my Pfizer contract was a 6-month contract only.
Wait, you
And
worked from Pfizer as site intelligence lead from
yes,
July 2019 to January 2020, right
yes,
before
yes,
the pandemic.
yes. Yeah, it's funny. And as soon as that contract ended, it did not get renewed, and I told my husband, let's take a big vacation, because now I don't have to worry about only 2 weeks. So we went to India for maybe 3.5 weeks or so. And when I came back from there, we just came back right before the pandemic like hit and everything was closed. So we
Wow.
came, and then I was still looking for jobs because I did not have a job at the time. And so this one actually, I had reached out to a recruiter, and she sent me this job, and it was paying less than what I was making before. And I just took it then because I was like, well, I'll take it now and we'll see how it goes. And because it was so uncertain at the time, what's going to happen? COVID's happening.
And that
How
was a sponsor, right? That's a
it was
sponsor.
a no, it was a CRO. So it was
Oh,
dark
that's a zero.
blue.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was we were doing work for BMS. But again, I
Ah,
never
gotcha,
went into,
gotcha.
yeah, we never went into the office. I was interviewed on the phone. I was onboarded. Everything was online. I never went into the office.
That's when the work from home stuff started.
Yeah, yeah. So, and within 5 months, I was realizing that maybe this is a little bit uh, junior level for me than I am capable of, but I was still doing it. And what just so happened that something happened within the company, and they asked everybody, all of us, they said that we're going to look for projects for you, but if you don't get anything by a certain date, then you probably have to be on your own. So then I was like, well, I don't want to wait for them. I just started looking on my own. And then I got another job and I resigned there and I went to the other job.
So you found the other one. So you from the startup specialist is the one that
Yes.
you
Yeah.
okay. And maybe we
So,
worked there together too, because I probably do the majority of the study startup stuff at my sites and uh
well, maybe.
until I hand it off to the coordinator. But
Yeah.
wow.
I did a lot of ICFs there then. All I did there was ICFs. So
Mm,
for me, then, when also that is a little challenging for me if I have to just do one thing. So right
mm-hmm.
now, because I'm a CTM, I'm like doing 15 different things at the same time, right? And I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
there something is priority on one day, another thing is the other day, but that's how I like the dynamic
Yeah,
part of it. I just can't like just do one. Like if it's ICF reviews, all that's all I'm doing all day
yeah,
long.
yeah.
So that is I get bored and I get worn out. But if I can do different things and I learn different things, I think that's how I grow also. So that's why this role that I'm doing now, it's amazing. And even when I was a Daiichi, then the CTM that I was working for, the AD, Associate Director, he was such a giving manager, Dan, in the sense that he let me take so many initiatives because I was a study associate there. But he let me do a few things which were CTM uh, really role, but so that I could learn. And that's how I learned and I landed this job where I am a
It's
CTM.
always something like that. Like
Yeah.
when you're at a place, if you have like appropriate leadership, or maybe not even appropriate necessarily, but like me with my coordinator, right? I'm the site director, but if I'm busy, I'll tell my CRC, hey, help me do this feasibility survey. And they say, oh, well, what is that? I've never done it. Well, just do it and you'll see. And ask me questions if you have questions. So then they start doing that stuff. That's how you gain skills, doing things that someone else is actually in charge of, but they need help.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what he did, and that's how I learned. And I mean, that's how I have learned all my life, Dan, on the job. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's the best way to learn. I feel
Oh,
because you're
yeah.
actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, or
And it takes the right like personality, but it sounds like that's you because you said it yourself. You have to do a lot of things. CTM's probably perfect for you.
yeah,
Um, I think you would be good as like a site owner also, but that's different because then it's like also riskier too. So that's
yeah,
someone's risk tolerance. It's a little different, and it would be back to being like a coordinator in the beginning. But
yeah, yeah. No, but that's something I don't know. Maybe I see myself. Uh, I could be a site owner too. I would
mm,
love to do that if that opportunity arises in future because uh, experience is a huge thing, Dan,
Oh,
and it's huge. Like
yeah. Well,
you've
that's why you're
seen,
coming to save our sites.
because if you have seen what happens at sites hands on, you can foresee if you even when I'm at a sponsor, I know that this is not going to work if you're going to do this, because I am site. I was a coordinator, and I knew what I did and not, and what was in my capacity. They are
Hmm.
so overworked. Most of the coordinators are. They are doing several studies
Ridiculous,
at one time.
ridiculously overworked.
But
Ridiculously overworked.
yeah, so but then they can make and break a research site too, Dan. I mean, I know PI is the ultimate person and he's the responsible party, but if you have a good coordinator, you have a good site.
Oh,
That's yeah,
absolutely. I also think
yeah,
even if you don't do site ownership, that's just one option.
yeah.
There's like so much someone like you can accomplish. If you ever get into medical writing, see this now in your career, it makes sense to get degrees based on what you want to do. Like
Thank you for saying that, Dan, because
further.
that was going to be my next question, and you read my mind.
Well, now it makes sense. But you have to find like medical writing, okay? Because now you get into like regulatory affairs because you have the site experience, you have the CRO, you know how even the vendors work, you have CTM experience at the sponsor. So now the next thing is like regulatory affairs. How do we fill out regulatory filings to get this IP to the next phase? How do we do like higher level stuff at the sponsor level, like decision, like more of like even like executive, and these are people, by the way. I work with a lot of these people. They charge whatever they want, like 800 an hour, 1500 an hour. It doesn't matter. People pay them because there's not that many people willing to do it, number one, and two, that know how to do it. So
Yeah.
that's like the next step. But when you can get like medical writing, regulatory affairs, biostats, or at least know how to make all these pieces fit together, you could basically run a biotech. I think that's like the next phase of my career when we move back to San Diego is to
Mhm.
get involved on a advisor level with some of these biotechs and then combine it with marketing somehow. But that's later. This is a site I gotta run Yuma clinical trials until we figure out what to do with it. But
Yeah, yeah.
and you're just getting started. Your career is just getting started.
That's really very reassuring, then. It really is.
But yeah,
It is.
you've got at least what, like 25 years, God willing, but if not more. I mean, there's so much we can do afterwards. This is why you have to come to SOS conference, saveoursites.com, no matter what your skill level, no matter even if you're thinking of starting a site or not, the people that are going to be there are from all areas of research, and we're
Mm,
we're doing this. This is our first inaugural conference, is going to be in February, and every year we're having a conference. So yeah, come see Ritu there. She's going to be there, and hopefully you'll be there, and we'll be
yeah,
able to network.
I will be. I want to be, and I will be. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you there, and everybody go connect. We'll do like a live stream. We'll have to do a live stream with you, because I already know people are gonna ask questions. But as we wrap up, there's a lot of people from India or other countries similar that want to move to either US or Canada and do research. So, what advice do you have for them in like maybe 1 minute?
Sure. Um, I'm going to say this, Dan, that this is a great field to be in. It's rewarding. It is uh, satisfying, and there is no limit to where you can grow into it. And like I said, if they have seen the entire interview today, you don't need a degree. All you need is a passion for science, a passion to, you know, you have to, you just want to do this because if you have a purpose, I mean, of course, I am very passionate about it, but even if you want to look at it as a potential career, I think it's a great place to start. And like I said, you can go from, and there are, it's a multiverse universe, if I can say. There are several different areas where you can, specialize, or you can do something what I'm doing, which is doing everything. But like there are several different avenues that you can always explore within the industry, and you just have to be in it to know it. So that's what I would say. I hope I
Thank you very much,
yeah.
Ritu. I agree, and it's just good to hear from someone else who's actually done it. But everybody, you gotta go connect with Ritu. Her LinkedIn's underneath. She's gonna be at SOS, so you should be there too. SaveOurSites.com. Thank you so much, Ritu. We'll go live one of these days before the year's
Yes,
over.
thank you, Dan. I really appreciate that. I think you're doing a great job, and it's really, I mean, I feel so grateful that I was able to connect with you today and talk to you in person, like virtually, but yeah,
Me
one on
too.
one. That
Me
was
too.
really amazing. Thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you for coming on, and nice to connect with you as well. Everybody go connect with Ritu. She's somebody you gotta get to know. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Bye bye.